Hey guys, Chris here. I've got a video today on enmeshment. I'm going to talk about masculine identity today and how come for a guy that's enmeshed with the mother or going for an enmeshment, untangling the enmeshment, why that is a challenging journey and can lead to things like indecisiveness and just not having this motivation and sort of a bit confused as to what to do. And for a guy who's been enmeshed and more getting the identity from the mother as to how to be, this can lead to indecisiveness, not really getting the sort of the approval and the validation, particularly from the masculine side. So if you're creating something great and you're on purpose, it's likely that the father's been absent. So what this leads to is maybe getting more validation from the mother and perhaps being quite confused because you might create an awesome life for yourself and be on purpose. And what you're really looking is for that masculine approval, from the father. And if that's not got, then it can be confusing because the mother will likely want to sort of control and keep you safe and focus more on the relationships. So with a lot of guys who think, oh, I need to meet someone, or this is what I need, and generally for men, it's been about purpose and the integrity and having this real passion for life. And for a lot of guys, that the point is it's just a case of maybe just giving up or can't be bothered because you're not getting that approval, not getting the approval from if the father's emotionally absent. You sort of think, well, what's the point of doing anything? I can't get the well done. And similar to myself and for a lot of guys out there, the journey of looking for other male role models out there, and to get the approval from them, because at the end of the day, as men, you want to, if you're sticking at a certain routine, or you're getting up early, or you're going to the gym consistently, or you're just learning a skill, these are all good qualities of men, and making more money, being a good provider. But if you're not getting that validation, then this is generally what leads to a lot of indecisiveness, and particularly men who can't stick at one thing or want to start something new and say, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna start this, I'm gonna do that, and then they don't, they give up. So this is partly why this happens. And for men looking outside for male role models, and ultimately you want to be your own father to yourself, or sort of looking within yourself and thinking this is like a little child that needs nurturing, and you want to look for healthy role models. So most guys will look to the opposite, from the negative beliefs of perhaps their mother taking on, you're looking outside for guys who are the so-called bad boys, or just looking on YouTube and finding, whoever's the big male influencers. And a lot of the influencers perhaps relate to a lot of guys, but understand as well that most guys don't know about enmeshment. 99% of men who probably even enmesh don't know what enmeshment is. And for some guys, they might take on more views and hang around women a lot more, and believe in more sort of feminist views. But generally, a lot of guys adopt more the misogynistic kind of beliefs as well, due to the frustration of the mother, and not being able to maybe meet their own masculine needs. And then there's the final type of man, which is, sort of sees that misogynistic point of view, and that's, guys that are enmeshed. And I definitely went through that cycle as well, and is to, ultimately take more responsibility for your life and have your own views as well, which is that sake of, it's not necessarily that women are the problem, or that guys are being unfairly treated. At the end of the day, part of masculine, true masculinity, and maybe having this more spiritual awareness as well, is to really take full responsibility for your life and not blame anyone else, and not say, oh, women are like this and this is happening and it's unfair against men, because that puts you in a victim mindset. And that can be quite attractive, and some men can be very successful with that victim mindset. And also, out of integrity, you only need to look at governments and successful billionaires. And I think we can all generally jump on board of seeing where they are. They're lacking, integrity. And part of this system, the system, the matrix, as it were, is corrupt, and that's not necessarily being a masculine man. So masculine role models I've always had in my life are that I've drawn the most to aren't the most successful. They're just your average guy, or there are guys who are so-called as successful. They live a luxurious luxury lifestyle, and it's finding those kind of guys. And the final tip I can give everyone as well is to really look at the relationships of your life and think, which men in my life are enmeshed and around me, because most people will not see this as a wound. And if you're around guys who are very much in that victim mindset, sort of seeing the enmeshment with their mother as like a privilege of, oh yeah, I'm close with my mum, blah blah blah. You have to really look at those relationships, because they will still affect you on one level. And also just seeing perhaps that's a part of you that you are still enmeshed as well, because the enmeshment wound is very deep and it can take a while to fully uncover, and there's a lot of emotion and deep feelings at the bottom. But we're here today to talk about masculinity. And I was out recently, just come back from Bali, who I learned a lot from a guy out there, and he was saying about the right side of the body. It's to do with the relationship with men in your life. If you've got shoulder pain here, knee pain here, lower back pain here, particularly on the right side, it relates a lot to the relationships with men that you have in life, and a lot of the relationships can be quite frustrating. And a good exercise he gave me was just to draw, all of the people in your life and where the energy is going in between different people. Is there the person who you're phoning up and you're complaining about this with, or this and that? And then you can see what is kind of keeping you in that cycle of still forming the masculine identity, which we've established is very difficult for a mesh man with the mother. But it's very likely that you've been on this journey throughout your life, still discovering the masculinity, and it's only going to improve, and eventually you can get to the point of being a real powerful man of integrity, attractive guy, and be in touch with that feminine side as well, which a lot of enmeshed men are, and then coming out the other side a lot stronger. So it is all good news at the end of the day. But I just wanted to do that video today. Hopefully you took some points away, and stick with the journey, guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.